What's up, guys? It's Kevin. So I wanted to talk today about your morning routine. Now, most people start a morning routine because they want to change their life. The first thing they think of is, you know what? I'm going to start waking up earlier, and I'm going to get motivated, and I'm going to stick to a morning routine. And I've been doing that for the past 10 years myself. And there were some morning routines that worked for me and some stuff that didn't really work so well for me. And so in this video, I really want to share with you a combination of some things that I've learned from multiple people to implement into your morning routine so you can find what works best for you. And I'm also going to share my personal morning routine that I do as a nomad and traveling around the world to stay grounded and in my center, to be more focused but also very present. And before I get started, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do that and hit the like button. It does a lot for me, and I would greatly appreciate it. And it doesn't take much time at all, so make sure you go do that. But anyway, so morning routines. Again, we get started because you want more focus, you want to improve your day, and the science behind it is actually really important too, because doing something for you in the very beginning of the day, before looking at your phone, before going on Facebook and Instagram or Twitter or TikTok and all the things, if you block out a time for yourself the very first thing in the morning, you're literally telling your subconscious that you're going to choose you first. And what that does is it bleeds over into every other aspect of your life throughout the day. So you have an important decision to make. You're going to check in with yourself instead of worrying about what other people think of you. If you have a decision to make in terms of something that you personally want to do, you're really going to tap into yourself just simply from making time in the morning. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but I've seen it happen in my life, in my clients' lives, and it's something that you can implement, and over time you'll really see the benefits of. And this is something that does kick in over time, so don't expect it to where you do one morning routine and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, like my life has changed, I did this one thing. You might have a good day, but you change your life through repetition. So make sure it's a discipline and you do it no matter what, no matter how you feel. There's some mornings where all I want to do is stay in bed. I don't want to get up, but my alarm went off and I said I was going to do my morning routine, and so I do it. And as you'll find later in the video, as I explain things, that the morning routine that I have can be customized depending on how much time you got. Because listen, sometimes you don't have 3 hours to do a whole giant morning routine. Sometimes you got to get up and go, but you do have 10 minutes. And so I break it down to where, if you have 3 hours, if you have only 10 minutes, you can do this exercise. So another thing that I want to focus on is a lot of people's morning routines. They focus on just getting energized. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're super energized, you're hyped, and you're freaking motivated, you're almost to the pendulum swung in the other direction. You're almost too far off center. So you want to be heightened and elevated in terms of your energy. But if you're too hyper, then you're not really present with yourself and your own emotions. But also, if you never get that energy, then you will be kind of wallowing, for lack of better terms, in your emotions. And this morning routine is to get you present, raise your awareness, get you energized, but do it in a way that's much more sustaining throughout the day, and you won't crash later on. So before I get into the morning routine, there's also a quick note on caffeine. I know it's a touchy subject for a lot of you coffee lovers, but I cut back on caffeine, create like a huge amount, and so I don't do any caffeine anymore. I do other supplements like ashwagandha and rhodelia to stimulate my adrenals, but I don't do caffeine anymore. So I cut the caffeine, and that is a tough one to let go of. But once you do, you'll start to recognize like you don't need that. The only reason that you need it now is probably because your body's adapted and addicted. So when you break the addiction, and the first week is going to be really rough, but after quitting it and recognizing that you don't need an external stimulus for your own energy, then that's really where you start seeing progress in terms of your natural energy, and that's what we're going for. Also, waking up on time is determined by going to bed on time. A lot of people want to wake up super early in the morning, set their 5 a.m. wake-up calls, and do all this stuff. But when you go to bed on time, you'll get 8 hours, you'll sleep well, and that will allow you to have a good day the next day. So sleep is very overlooked. I do a ton of stuff for my sleep, and I'll probably make another video on that soon, especially as a nomad traveling around. There's lots, but I really protect my sleep. And Because I get 8 hours every night, I'm able to wake up at 5 a.m. and not hit the snooze button. And that's another thing. Don't hit the snooze button. Don't even have it as an option on your phone. One alarm, and that's it. And you just get up and you train your body to get up in that way and in that fashion. And listen, if you want to roll around in bed for 10 minutes, you can. It depends on what you got going on that day, right? Sometimes I do it. So it's not like a non-negotiable rules that I'm talking about here. I will say you got to know why you're doing this, because it's going to be tough. You're retraining your body to be on a different clock and to do different things. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to want to feel cozy in your bed, and you're not going to want to do it, and you'll hit a low day. Trust me, it's going to happen. But what's going to keep you in the long run is knowing why you're doing it in the first place. So I would say get connected to a reason inside of yourself as to why you need to change your life and what it is that you're working towards and for. A lot of people that are kind of doing the inner work, just from my observation, aren't really striving towards something. They know what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. And you also got to move towards what you want and away from what you don't want at the same time. It's a duality thing that happens. So make sure you are getting excited about something and you have a future to look forward to. So spend some time journaling on that today, and that might help you in your morning tomorrow. So let's jump into it. This is the morning routine. I use 4 elements: water, earth, fire, and air. I keep it simple like that because it makes sense in my brain. And I posted this on my Instagram, which is going to be linked in the description below, so you can find the post there. But I have a 10-minute version, a 1-hour version, and a 3-hour version. Now, that's just a template and a structure that I use loosely. I change the order of things. I change how long I spend on which element. But let me explain, and you can customize it for you. I would also suggest looking into your dosha, which is Ayurvedic. So you can see what energy you're lacking and what energy is your nature, because you want to do your nature energy almost first, and then the lacking energy you want to do last and spend a little bit more time there. Now, in terms of the elements, right? So water, that's the first thing that I do is I chug 24 ounces of water. I'm used to it by now, but in the beginning it was kind of weird, but I just down it. And that helps so much with just getting your blood flowing. You've been it's sleeping, you're dehydrated, and it's just important to wake you up. Now, let's talk about my 10-minute one first, right? So I'll have some water, and then I'll also splash my face with some cold water, and I'll wash my face. Now, not because I'm breaking out and I got pimples and stuff, but just to stimulate my body and my vagus nerve, and splashing your face with cold water stimulates your vagus nerve to and your adrenals and a bunch of other stuff to wake you up and to get you present. So that's why I do that. In my 1-hour version, I drink water, but then I'll take a cold shower. And Wim Hof does a lot of stuff on that. If you know Iceman, and you can do more research on cold showers and the effects of cold showers. Now, I don't start it cold, and I sometimes only do 30 seconds, but I'll do it just to prove to my body in the very beginning of the day that my spirit is in charge, not my body, not but the excuses or old loops of depression and anxiety. I get to choose that I am above that, and I prove that to my body, and I don't negotiate with my body. And so that's why I do cold showers. Another thing that I do, if I'm doing 3 hours, I'll go jump in the ocean or a lake that's nearby. And that's really fun. I mean, if you have the luxury of time, I really encourage you to do that. Every single day, no matter what, go into the ocean and just dipping in. Salt water cleanses your aura. It's really healthy for you, and just connect with nature first thing in the morning. We're so disconnected nowadays with our phones and technology, so it's good to, and we're disconnected, right? But it's good to actually connect with reality and nature, and that will help you out in so many ways. So I highly recommend it. I'll also say that do what's best for you. You'll know exactly what you need to do and exactly how much time is needed depending on your day. Now, this is for me. I do water first, and then after water, I'll go to earth. Now, earth is movement, grounding, being here in your physical body, right? And a lot of people that are overthinkers, you're up in your head, or you just came out of fairy tale land dreaming. So it's important to wake up and jump into your body. So if it's 10 minutes, I do 3 yoga sun salutations, or I'll do an intuitive yoga flow, and that just gets the blood flowing, gets me opened up, but I really focus on full range of motion, and I stretch as much as I can. If it's a 1 hour version, then I'll do 20 minutes of yoga or 20 minutes of light cardio. And if it's a 3 hour morning routine, then I'll do a full on like cross training workout and go hard. And that just drops me into my body and to be more aware of my physical body, my vessel, right? And after that, I'll do air, which air is literally oxygen. You need to oxygenate your body. And if you didn't get it from moving your body with earth, you'll get it from air. And I do breathing exercises. And this is to calm your central nervous system down. So there's a lot of like heightening and calming. You really want to find this middle ground, but you're waking your body up. And one way that I do in terms of focus, right, and sustained energy, this is how I dropped caffeine, by the way, is breath work. So if it's 10 minutes, I'll do 33 breaths, 3 seconds on an inhale, 3 seconds on the exhale. And the entire time I'm doing mindfulness meditation on the breath. So I'm asking myself, what does this feel like? And I'm getting curious about the senses and the sensations that are in my body. And that mindfulness practice is going to help drop you into presence. But the full deep breaths and the full exhales are also going to oxygenate your system, and you're going to become more alert and awake and aware and focused throughout the day. If it's a 10-minute version, I'll do 3 rounds of Wim Hof breathing, which is very similar to what I talked about before. But if you want to research more about it, research Iceman. And that one includes like holding your breath and some other things. I may throw in different types of breath work. There's so much, but that's the easiest place to start for you guys. And then if it's an hour long, then I'll I'll do 5 rounds of Wim Hof breathing, and I might do some pineal gland activation breath work from Joe Dispenza. And that's basically activating your pineal gland that's in your head and get you super creative, and you kind of blast off, but get you connected to the divine, to the quantum field, to God, so that you can build that cord. And right after I do breath work, I go into fire, which is your spirit. And I spend the most time in fire because actually there's no fire in my chart. Even though I feel like I'm a Leo and I'm fiery, I've overdeveloped that side of me because it was missing within, and I created it myself. It's kind of crazy. And a lot of intuitives that I talk to, they're like, wow, that's insane that you did that. And I think it's because of my morning routine, and I spent so much time in that fire energy. So what I do, if it's 10 minutes, is I do an activation or an emotional activation meditation where I focus on something that I'm proud of myself for. And then I focus on something that I'm grateful for in my life. And I actually feel it in my body. I'm not thinking. I try to give my body the emotional experience of it. And then I also get really excited for something that's coming up in my day. And then I'll spend maybe a minute or 30 seconds journaling either a to-do list or some awareness or ideas that I got in that whole morning routine. And I'll jot it down on the notes of my phone, and then I get up and I'm ready for the day. I might take another shower, but that's just me, depending on what I got going on that day, right? And if it's a 1 hour long meditation for fire, I'll spend a little bit more time with it. So I focus on gratitude, but I do what's called time jumping. So I feel grateful for something that happened in the past. And then I feel grateful for something in my life right now. And then I feel grateful for something that's going to happen, but I feel it as if it already happened. So I'm in the moment. All of this stuff is not in my head. If you're not smiling and crying from gratitude, you're in your head. I really get my emotions into it. And I cry every single morning in my morning routine, by the way, when I get to this, even on the 10-minute one, because I've trained my body to become more emotional and get out of the head. And when I'm there, I start jumping timelines. So I'll focus on, past, present, future, past, present, past, future, past, future. And when you do that so fast like that, your mind doesn't have time to catch up and go, well, what was the past and what was in the future and what was now? It all gets jumbled up, and you're just grateful for the whole experience of living, and the future becomes your past in a weird way. And you just start waking up and you go along the day like it already happened, and you're a little bit more confident. So that's something that I've found to be really helpful. And then I'll spend a lot more time journaling, and I just do a stream of consciousness, like whatever's on my mind, and I might create some ideas or write down some ideas that I had during my meditations or in the morning routine in general, if I do an hour-long session. Now, if I do 3 hours, I usually do a full Joe Dispenza meditation, and again, you can research more of this. His book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I use that whole thing. There's guided stuff on YouTube, but I'll either do that or I'll just do my own thing with meditation. But I spend a solid hour meditating straight. So it'll be something from like a mindfulness meditation to a Joe Dispenza meditation to really anything. But with Joe Dispenza's stuff, one thing that I do add is I give energy. So I think of people in my life, like my family and my friends and my clients, and I give them white light and healing and blessings to them, and then I'll bless myself as well. And that, I feel, just opens up my heart so much and gets you in that space of giving to the world. Because while the morning routine is a lot for you, ending on that note of giving will put you in the right space to be like, okay, you know what? I took care of myself. Now I'm going to help other people. And if you're an empath and you care a lot about people, then you'll have a tendency to do that. But again, you did your morning routine. You took care of you first. You filled up your cup first. And now out of the overflow, you can then give. And I'll spend a lot more time journaling, a lot more time writing out creative ideas. But I'll also write out a to-do list for the day, and then I'll get with it. And if it is an hour or 3 hours, usually for Earth, I'll work out, right? So I might end up taking another shower afterwards. I don't know why, but I haven't ever had a problem with taking 2 showers in the morning. That's just me. I'm a water sign, so maybe I need a lot of water. I don't know. But that's what I do for my morning routines, the 10-minute, 1 hour, and 3 hours. Now, some other things that you can throw in there, like when I'm making my breakfast in the morning, I'm gonna dance, okay? Like I put on some music and I shake my ass and I get into it and I dance and move my body. So sometimes for fire, instead of a still meditation, I'll also do like an ecstatic dance movement meditation. If I need to process some emotions, maybe I'll spend more time journaling and really processing stuff and crying it out, or getting angry and frustrated and trying to figure it out, rationalize my head. The fire is for connecting with that part of you, and even sometimes in the shower, right? If it's on hot, that's really like a hot shower is really where I process some emotions and stuff will come up there. But again, mix match the order, see what works for you. The order and sequence matters, but I can't really give one blanket statement that you should all do this order exactly. And that's where it's kind of like unsexy, because you're like, well, what do I do then? Try things. Commit to it for like the long term. Remember why you're doing the morning routine in the first place, and you'll find that genetic clock of what's going to be best for you, and you're going to find that code, and once you get it, you're gonna hit a sweet spot, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's it. Then you'll really be able to have fun with it, and you'll be able to make it your own. But that's what I do, incorporating all the elements, getting myself primed and ready for the day. I just feel so much more grateful and confident and grounded and happy because I showed up for myself first, and it bleeds over into the rest of my day. So if this has been helpful for you guys, please let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section below. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, you should probably do that. I'm starting more on my YouTube channel with putting more video content out, so I'm really excited about that. And hit that like button as well. It does me a solid. So I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.